sekusele kancane sizophumelela yo 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 sekusele kancane sizophumelela yo 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 sekusele kancane sizophumelela
Empumalanga, Eshonalanga, eNingizimu neNyakatfo. That's what they say in Siswati. I welcome you, ladies and gentlemen. All I was saying was the north, the south, the east, and the west. I welcome everybody in the Big Daddy Football Corner. But fair too, unusual for me to post a video, around this time. But people that have followed this channel for a while will know that on such big games, like the final, I always try and do a pre-match tactical analysis. But what I concentrate more on is the opposition, which is in this case Marumo Gallants, dissecting it, looking at what actually did I see that I think is where they are weak and where their strongest points, and how Orlando Pirates can actually win this particular game. So I went back and I actually watched just only the extended highlights of the journey of Marumo Gallants from the last 16 to the quarterfinals to the semifinals and now to the finals, for me to come up with where I think there are gaps and weaknesses, and also where their strongest points actually lie. And again, they have a very good coach, man, in Alexandra Lafitte, who is a French born. And when I looked at my records, he's also won the Ivorian league. He started Abidjan. Orlando Pirates supporters will remember last season in the group stages we had this team, from Ivory Coast. He has won a league with them. A very young coach in the PSL, a coach that believes so much into possession-based football, positional playing. Start the ball from the back, building from the back, and using different combinations, in terms of able to get out from a press if there's a press. And obviously there are certain dynamics and changes, and a few things that they do in between, to try, and get into the final third. They are also utilizing strength of certain players, within the team, to be able to win games in this instance. If you look them in the log, they are number 12. I think they've played 14 games. They only got 3 wins, which is very strange for me. And they've got 5 losses and actually 6 throws. If you look at the winning percentage on the league side, is about 36%. They've scored about 12 goals in 14 games, which is like 0.85 goals per game, which means there is all likelihood that in each and every game, they will be able to score a goal. It's just close to 1 in this instance. They have also conceded 17 goals in the 14 games. That means it's 1.2 goals per match. And that already says to me, in every game that they go, they are highly likely to concede, especially when they are meeting a team that is on form and a team that is scoring goals. They are all likely, to concede in this particular instance. If you look at their cup run, this Culling knockout competition, they started in the last 16 with Sundowns. 90 minutes, it was 120 minutes, it was 0-0 up to penalties, and then they won 7-6. Quarterfinals, they thrashed Stellenbosch 4-0. Semifinals, Golden Arrows, it was a 2-2 draw in 120 minutes. They went on into the penalties and they won 4-2. What is interesting for me in this instance is that now we also have, we can also go and analyze their penalties, especially their goalkeeper Arubi, in terms of looking where the weaknesses are. I'm going to touch base onto that in case the game goes to penalties, or within the game, Orlando Pirates happen to get a penalty. The formation that they use the most is the 4-3-3 formation, Arubi becomes their goalkeeper, their captain, the one that is always ensuring that he organizes the defense and it is solid. On the right hand side, there's a number 13 who on the ball is very, very, very interesting. Ukhumbulani Ncube. You know, on the left hand side, they have an incredible left back. That for me, he's one of the best in the PSL. But because he plays for Marumo, you know, and few people will notice him, you know, Uchabatane. Then in the center backs, they have got Agnikoi as well as Kosana, you know, that play into that center back. Then they have then they also have one of their central midfielders, two of them, Ubanse. I hope I'm pronouncing correctly. A left-footed central midfielder. Ooh, he's incredible, guys, on the ball. The way he's able to spread passes, like sometimes when he has the ball, I get a little bit of goosebumps. They also have Ustole as well, who's incredible. He's also scored an incredible goal against Golden Arrows just after the center line pushed the ball, saw the goalkeeper outside, and then he looped the ball with the left foot into that. They usually use Otladisa on the right hand side, Umabuza on the left hand side, and then Undlondlo becomes their number 9, who's a false 9 that is also play a free role and being allowed to move whenever he feels, you know, they have to move. Also on the bench, they've got a couple of players that can come in and change the game. Mpambaniso, you know, is also an incredible player, more like Undlondlo, a little bit short and very, very good on the ball. Msendane as well is another one that can come in from the bench. If you look at the stats, it will show you that already this season in the league, he has got 4 big chances that, you know, that actually he missed that were created for him. It talks about a player that is able to get into the final third and actually score goals or get the chance to score a goal. Jaden Clifford, he scored against Orlando Pirates. He's their top goal scorer, you know, in terms of the league with 3 goals. There's also another player who's Tebogo Motlong, who, when you pull the data, he comes out, you know, as one of the players that creates a lot of chances into that team. He's got about 3 chances and he's number 2 on the log in terms of chances created, you know, and he's got number 1 has got 4 chances created. Chabatane, he is an incredible player, guys. I think this boy, this last season to Marumo, I think one of the biggest teams he's likely to go. If you don't watch, you know, Marumo, the small teams, you won't even notice him. And you go pull the stats, guys, it is incredible. He's got his number 1 Hambayeto with the most accurate long balls per game. He plays around 7.2. And you know, accurate long balls per 90 minutes. They are this. He is this, guys. He is this. Now, let's go to Marumo and look at a couple of weaknesses. Out of possession, you know, one weakness that most teams will have, the central midfield, sometimes they lose concentration and they leave space, you know, in the pivotal space. Some, they call it the red zone. That red zone, at times, it becomes unmarked. There are gaps in between the last defensive line and the midfield line, you know, and Orlando Pirates needs to ensure that they have a player who can poke at that area, because they consistently, you know, leave this space unguarded, you know, their central midfield. For me, Umbula in this game will be very crucial as a 10 in terms of attacking that space, because you might say he doesn't have space, but pace. For me, I will say his quick speed of action is what sets him apart. And you need a player that in that zone, when he gets the ball, he gets into that zone and he's able to take chances or put you know, pull pass through, you know, in the into the farm players. The other way as well to exploit this place is to, when you isolate, you know, whether the left back or the right back, you know, take that player on one on the side. But whenever then you have to cross the ball, you cut into the D-line. Then you have a player that comes in and crush the box. Your late box crushers, they come into the 18 area. Red zone, because they will always, most of the time, concentrate on the side where the ball is played, right? The other thing is they are very, very vulnerable on counter-attacks. If you go watch the games against Sundowns, they were caught a couple of times, on transition. Their rest defense is teka ring, man, especially when they're being attacked. Also their defenders, they are very, very uncomfortable defending, facing their goalkeeper. Whenever you play balls, over their defensive line, and they have to run facing their goalkeeper, or they have to peg, and also the fact that they push the line a little bit higher. For me, they look very, very vulnerable. They are in 6 and 7s, where they are attacked at pace with dribbling wizard, and they have to peg or run facing their goalkeeper. The other thing that I noticed as well when they are defending corner kicks, the far post, guys, there is always a player, or there is always space, or it's unmarked. They are able to mark the near post. They are able to mark the 12-yard area. They are also able to have players that actually going to receive the scraps or the second balls and react on the second balls. But where they are very, very poor is in the far post. Also, all the time when the free kick the corner kick is being played, there will always be one player from the opposition that will be free. Some way, somehow, they don't track the runners, and there's always a chance to always find the player unmarked into this area. If Orlando Pirates could concentrate on those corner kicks, there is a goal coming into that. Again, what you can also do as well is when you've got the ball in zone 3, into attack, when you switch the ball from one side into the other half, you've got a very, very high chance to find a free player, because their players' density are always concentrated on the side of the ball, right? And then the other thing that I noticed as well, Ukhubulan Ncube is number 13, is their right back. For me, if I was Orlando Pirates, that's the player I was going to target, because in possession, he's incredible. He comes in between. I mean, he even comes, from the right back. He comes into midfield, and invert. He is incredible on the ball. But off the ball, when you have a winger that is very quick, nippy, pacey, that is a dribbling wizard that can take him one-on-one, he's vulnerable. Orlando Pirates need to find more situations where they isolate him on 1v1 and you take them on. The other way to unlock their defense is using a third-man run. Mokaba will be very, very crucial, because at a critical phase, before the pass, or when the player carries the ball, he drops, from his number 9 position. When he drops behind him, the center backs come in. When he comes in, because they're playing with a flat 4, now all of a sudden, in between the defenders, there's a huge space, because their center back always follow, the striker. And then all you do, the third man run, when that pass come in, the winger, whoever side it is, starts making the run. It goes to Umahopa. Mahopa plays it, whether to the same player or to another player, over into that space. For me, that is a very, very good chance of scoring the goal. When I was watching the penalties, looking at Arubi, I will tell Orlando Pirates players 4 things. Number 1, place the ball on the far post. Don't place it in the middle. Don't place it anywhere. Always target the far post. Always target the far post. Number 2, put power on the ball, because when you don't put power on the ball, Arubi is likely to get into it, because he is long. I mean, he's tall. He's got that big frame. He can get into this ball. The third one, lift the ball up 1 meter away from the ground. Don't place the ball, on that 1 meter, because he is very good into diving into those areas, into those areas. And also he uses his feet at times. He will make the dive and use his feet, again, if you place it either in the middle to save penalties. Those are my 4 things that I say to any Orlando Pirates player that gets a penalty against Arubi. Where is Marumo? Is Marumo very, very dangerous? For me, guys, on breakouts, on transition, Hi guys, they attack you with pace, they attack you with numbers. If your rest defense is ring or it's not switched on, they will attack them because they are very, very lethal when they get the ball and they start attacking and using their quick players into getting to that zone. But what I saw for Orlando Pirates against Durban City is very, very worrying. The mistakes that were being done by the center back pairing, that will be very, very worrying. It will be interesting what the coach decides to play in the center back. For me, I will always go for Mboaz and Siema. They are very stingy, those boys. Again, I've said it even on Twitter to say, the Orlando Pirates at the moment under our coach Ward always pushes the defensive line very, very, very high to compress the space in between them and the center back when they attack. At times they even go and have a 2-1 rest defense. Why? Because they know what's the two center backs that they have. When you say them go back and defend, the space, the corridor of uncertainty, I can tell you they are very, very good in terms of the recovery run. Now, when you have Usmisi, into the space, I'm not saying he's a bad player, but I'm saying because of how we push the highlight, you need players that are quick and also able to defend facing their goalkeeper. And in Marumo, you make one mistake, they punish you. And also how they make their runs in between at the shoulders of the defenders. They sneak in between the center backs and the full backs when you least expect them. You need to chase those runs because they are likely to make those runs and get those through balls in between. Mpho Chabatane, for me, he's one. For me, I'll name two players that I think are critical. I'm not going to go and I'm just going to name two for now. For me, he is very, very key. I've told you about the stats in the entire PSL. He is key to Marumo in terms of their transition from defense to attack. And he's able to locate anyone in the field of play because of his ability to play with his left and find anyone else. Philip Ndlondlo is without a doubt their most dangerous player. The other time when we were shooting a video, I even joked and say, is Ndlondlo Messi? Because he has turned, he went to a club and is being used to his strength, and the team is built around him in terms of attack. He is currently the top goal scorer with 3 goals in this league. He usually cheats with the defense and always finding space to become a free player in the box. And the players are always told, find Ndlondlo because Ndlondlo is going to be clinical. His low center of gravity allows him to move quickly, change direction quickly, and move to an area that you least expect in a second. Orlando Pirates need to track the runner against Ndlondlo because it's going to be very dangerous. Orlando Pirates need to avoid free kicks because Ndlondlo as well is very lethal in terms of how he finishes or how he takes his free kicks. If you were to tell me and say Simanga, please go tell us what you think the score will be in this particular game. My prediction in this game, I will say, I see, because it's if it was a league game, I was going to say Orlando Pirates was going to score more than 2 goals. But I think Orlando Pirates is going to score 2 goals because of the stats that I've told you before, and also the fact that Marumo is highly likely to score a goal. But I will say where Orlando Pirates is going to go score a goal, I see a goal in corner kicks. I see a goal in counter-attacks, when we attack at pace, especially after whether it's we're defending a corner kick or in any phase of the match where we're able to attack. I also see us on the 1v1s on the side, eliminating, especially on the right-hand side, where I say Orlando Pirates will target. And I see the third man run, giving us goals. But first, asihlangane Peter Mokaba Stadium, ayeye mabhakaniya ayeye, asambe nalento bafethu.